Keys webinar entitled Putting Value on Your Money, Fundamental Metrics and Advanced Fundamental Analysis. Okay, all right, let's start. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker. He is currently connected with Eagle Equities Incorporated, a member of the Philippine Stock Exchange with 26 years track record in the industry and trading certifications from local and international capital markets. He provides consultancy and advises corporations and high net worth individuals. He has also held key leadership positions in various companies and is now the president of APEC Wealth Consulting Corporations. He is the author of Keep It Smart and Simple, or KISS Charting and Trading Strategy. Let us all welcome Mr. Fernando Martinez.
Morning, and once again, thank you for waking up early Saturday morning. I'm sure mahirap gumising ng Sabado, but we are all here to, as I said before, last week, learn and then eventually earn. And we are on our third session. We started with Stock Market 101 last Saturday. Sunday, we did technical analysis, and now we're doing fundamental analysis. As you can see, step-by-step process ito, no? So we are not pounding you with knowledge that is going to, make it difficult for you to understand the stock market. So dahan-dahan namin to, hinihimay-himay namin ito. Now, next week, I think our topic, before next week, tomorrow, importante yung topic natin because I'm going to discuss if the pandemic-induced crisis is over, is it time to enter the stock market? So, di-discuss natin yung mga sectors to watch and then eventually yung stock to watch kasi we are all here to trade the stocks, di ba? But for the meantime, we will study fundamental analysis. I will give you some of the metrics that I use, personally use in identifying stocks that I want to buy or sell in the stock market. So let's proceed. Okay, our topic for today is putting value on your money, which discusses the different fundamental metrics that I use over the years now. Why putting value on your money? Just like any other asset, stocks kasi are considered as one of your assets when you buy stocks. So you buy assets of value, obviously. You buy house. Gusto mo maganda yung bahay mo, maganda yung location. So yun yung nag-a-add ng value. Hindi ba siya binabaha? Madali ba yung commute? So those are the metrics you use sa house. So jewelry is an asset. You want yung quality ng gold, kung ilang karat siya, yung design, and then kung sino yung gumawa. So yun yung fundamental metrics ng jewelry. At the same time, meron din tayong asset na nasa art, sa painting, again, kung sino yung gumawa, saan ang galing, yung age nung art mismo. So may mga metrics tayo na sinusunod. So dapat sa stock market, we should also follow our fundamental metrics para meron tayong guide kung ano yung stock na bibili natin or hindi bibili. Of course, may mga exception to the rules yan, which we will discuss later on. So let us proceed. Okay, let's differentiate first fundamental and technical analysis. Fundamental analysis tells us what to buy and what not to buy. On the other hand, technical analysis tells us when to buy and when to sell. Mayroong pagkakaiba yan. Sabihin niyo parang pareho lang naman. When to buy, ito naman what to buy. No, it's entirely different. Technical analysis kasi doesn't tell you if the company is fundamentally sound. It just gives you the signal to buy or to sell. So sometimes you can use not just sometimes, all of the time pa nga. Technical analysis is used to trade yung mga speculative stocks, yung mga highly volatile. But when you're trading speculative or highly volatile stocks, sometimes hindi mo ginagamit yung fundamental analysis. However, if you are trading you're into investing, meaning to say mahaba yung time frame mo. And then gusto mong bilhin yung mga established na company which are called the blue chips, you will use fundamental analysis to tell you what to buy and what not to buy, and then you will also use technical analysis to tell you when to buy and when to sell. So yun yung key difference ng fundamental and technical. But today, we will be discussing fundamental analysis, no? Medyo mas maikli lang yung discussion natin ngayon compared sa technical analysis last week. Most of the topics kasi dito sa fundamental analysis, I'm sure medyo narinig na ninyo, nabasa na ninyo sa newspaper, sa mga social media accounts ninyo. Lalagyan lang natin ng konting refresher at saka para maintindihan ninyo yung true meaning and at the same time, paano ninyo i-apply sa market. Okay, let us proceed. Fundamental analysis, the study of the economic and financial aspects and characteristics of a security. The objective is to determine the intrinsic value, yung kabuuan ng company, yung how you value, let's say, yung art, piece of jewelry, yung bahay, no? So, ganun ang gagawin natin sa stock market. Okay, so the objective is to determine the intrinsic value of the security based on various measures of value such as earnings potential, dividend streams, and asset value. So, earnings potential, obviously, yung the way the company earns their money. Dividend streams, because we want to establish if the company gives out dividends. Kasi there are only two ways to earn in the stock market, through dividend and price appreciation. And asset value is going to be the main focus of our discussion today. Ito yung mga metrics na ginagamit natin to identify whether maganda yung stock na binibili ninyo or hindi. Okay, let us proceed. 3 stages of fundamental analysis. Na-discuss ko to nung Market 101 pero pahapyaw lang. Today, we will discuss this more in depth. Number 1 is economic analysis. Number 2, industry analysis. And then number 3, company analysis. Let's go to economic analysis muna. No? So today, under economic analysis, we will be discussing GNP, GDP, inflation, money supply, and interest rates. These are the 5 metrics that mostly affects our direction pagdating sa economy ng country, and it will give us clues whether the economy is going up, going down, or about to go up or about to go down. So let us discuss first GNP. What is GNP, or Gross National Product? GNP represents the total value of goods and services produced by Philippine nationals in any given year, regardless of whether such goods and services are produced within or outside of the Philippines. Yun yung keyword doon, ano? Services, goods and services that are produced within or outside of the Philippines. Before, I think prior to 1990s or probably mid-1990s, we use this metric a lot. No? GNP yung ginagamit na basihan kung ano yung estado ng economy ng bansa natin. And most of the countries as well outside. However, economists found it na hindi siya masyadong applicable, no? Lalong-lalo na sa Philippines. Bakit? Sinasabi dito, no? These are goods and services produced by Philippine nationals and produced within or outside of the Philippines. Last week, I made an example of Louis Louillier. I forgot his name. I think it is Louis Louillier, yung designer ng gown sa Hollywood. No? Yung mga gowns niya ginagamit ng mga top-notch celebrities, Hollywood celebrities. But when tax season comes around, si Louis Louillier, hindi siya bumabayad ng tax sa Pilipinas. Or does she pay the taxes sa US? So sino nakikinabang doon sa mga gowns na pinuproduce niya? It's the US. Wala tayong direct impact sa atin except siguro sa nationalistic pride ng Pilipino. Lagi nating ina-hashtag proud to be Filipino. So pag nakikita natin yung gown ni Louis Louillier doon sa mga Emmys, Grammys, we usually post sa mga social media accounts natin, then we use hashtag proud to be Filipino. Yun lang yung ganansya natin sa kanya. Monetary wise, halos wala dahil he spends her money in the US, she pays her taxes in the US. So, hindi siya dapat sinasama do sa economic metric. So, after that realization, we are now using what? GDP. So, ito na ngayon yung lagi nating naririnig. May quarterly yan, annual, no? So, what is GDP? GDP represents the total output of goods and services produced within the geographic borders of the Philippines in any given year, regardless of whether such goods and services are produced by Filipinos or foreign nationals. Now, ang kaiba niya si GNP, produce siya within the Philippines lang. We don't care kung ano nangyayari sa outside. And what is important is produced by Filipinos or foreign nationals dito sa Pilipinas. Bakit? Kasi may mga foreign nationals dito. Meron tayong mga BPOs, madaming mga foreign nationals dyan. Meron tayong mga industrial zones, madaming foreign nationals dyan. Meron tayong mga, I forgot the term, sa online gaming, Pogo. Madami tayong foreign nationals dyan. Saan ba sila gumagastos? They pay their rent, they pay their electricity, other utilities bills. Dito sila nag-grocery, dito sila kumakain. Some of them are paying taxes here, except siguro for those that are based sa industrial zones kasi may mga tax exemptions yun. Pero overall, when they pay for a service, meron ba nakaakibat yun. So automatic natatax na din sila. Kahit yung mga nasa Pogo, may sinasabi sa atin na some of them are not paying taxes. Pero when they go to the malls, when they go to the restaurants, they pay and then VAT is included already. So nagbabayad din sila ng tax. So GDP is more accurate. Now, recently nagkaroon ng medyo divisive na issue about GDP. Why? Because second quarter, I think we went down, the GDP went down by almost 17%. No? So napakalaking issue for others. Some naman are saying na it is expected because of the lockdowns and the quarantine measures. Tomorrow naman, we will discuss that. Anong impact niya sa stock market and if worse is over. Okay, so malaking bagay itong GDP tomorrow. Next is inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is an economic condition characterized by a continuing rise in the general level of prices of goods and services. So tumataas yung bilihin. Inflation reduces the purchasing power of money and it also diminishes the real return on an investment. Well, for example, do sa real return, mag-save ka ng pera sa bangko. You earn an ordinary savings account around 0.2 or 0.4%. No? Annual na yon. It's not even 1%, it's not even 2%. So you're earning, let's say, 0.4%. Tapos ang inflation is, let's say, it's at 2%. So in real money, the value of your money dun na nasa savings account is losing 2% and then you're gaining 0.4. So negative 1.6 ka pa. So you're not beating inflation. Ibig sabihin nun, yung value ng money na nasa bangko is losing through time. So you have to find ways to invest your money. Madaming mga paraan dyan. You can go into yung mga BUL, no? Yung sa mga products ng insurance company. Kasi meron silang mga products doon that are designed to beat inflation. Let's say 2% yung inflation, may mga products sila doon that can earn you 4 or 6% annual. So positive ka na, that is good. Sa stock market naman, dynamic ang presyo ng stock market. No? So individual stocks varies. May mga stocks na magbibigay sa ng return ng 20, 10% per annum. Meron namang mga nagbibigay sa ng 10, 20% in a month or sometimes in a week lang. So ganun yung pagkakaiba niyan. Maaaring dito sa may BUL, medyo conservative ka, And then dito naman sa stock market, medyo risk taker ka. Meron din tayong mga fixed income. So pupunta ka ngayon sa money market instruments. May mga products doon that will pay you 4, 5, 6% guaranteed yon annual. So government securities. So para ka nagpapautang sa gobyerno. Again, it beats inflation rate, which is also good. Ibig sabihin, you are protecting your capital and at the same time, you are earning some returns. Inflation for me is very simple. This is the Wikipedia definition. For me, inflation is umakyat yung presyo ng mga goods and services pero yung sweldo mo hindi nadadagdagan. What happens? Pag hindi nadadagdagan yung sweldo mo, yung goods and services, hindi mo na ma-afford. Right? Like etong pandemic na nangyari sa atin, hindi naman talaga nagkaroon ng malaking pag-angat ng presyo sa goods and services kasi mabilis ang gobyerno, naglagay sila ng mga price ceiling sa mga goods. However, yung earning capacity naman natin naapektuhan kasi mayroong mga no work, no pay. Mayroong mga they are working pero work from home tapos nag-slash yung employees nila ng compensation nila. So, it's the same thing. Lumiit yung purchasing power mo, tumaas yung presyo. So, that is bad for the economy. So, pag bumababa yung inflation, good naman din yan. Kaya lang, meron din yung opposite, yung deflation naman. Bumababa na yung presyo ng goods and services, pero wala naman pera yung tao. Ibig sabihin, stagnant yung economy. So, hindi rin makapag-delay or makapag-purchase. So, that is the opposite of inflation. Next, money supply. Okay. Money supply, this is the amount of money that exists in the economy at any given time. So, mini-measure din natin yan, yung money na nagsisirculate sa economy or sa bansa natin. Now, may tatlong klase yan. Number one is M1. M1 is also referred to as narrow money and includes currency in circulation, paper money and coins, yung mga pera natin nasa bulsa, nasa wallet, nasa coin purse natin, and demand deposits checking account. Kasi yung checking account, when you issue that, it's good as paper money. So M1 represents mostly yung physical paper money and coins na nag-exchange between businesses and individuals. Okay? M2 is also called broad money and consists of M1 plus deposits and savings accounts in the banking system. So lahat ng paper money and coins, pati cheque mo, kasama dito sa M2, pero sinasama na yung deposits and savings account. Bakit nakahiwalay yung deposits and savings account? Yung deposits kasi and savings account, natutulog sa bangko yan. Hindi yan pumapasok sa economic system natin. So walang contribution yan. Pero it exists in the economy and nasa part yan ng money supply. So nasa M2 yan, category. Now what is M3? The broadest measure of money supply and consists of M1 plus M2. So yung paper money and coins in circulation plus checks, tapos yung deposits and savings account, plus assets and liabilities of financial institutions. Kasi mini-measure din yung health ng economy natin sa assets and liabilities ng mga financial institutions. For example, let's say pinakamalaking bangko sa atin right now, I think is BDO. Pagka nagkaroon ng problema yung BDO sa assets and liabilities, malaking epekto niya. It will affect M2 because of the deposits and savings account. It will also affect M1 because of the checking accounts. So yung M1, M2, M3, tinatrack natin yan. And we will find it healthy, mas maganda lalo kung mas madami yung nasa circulation, yung nasa M1, rather than mas malaki yung M2 because money within the deposits and savings account does not contribute to anything except yun, yung bangko, papautang niya, siya yung kikita. So yun yung pinaka-impact niya. Pero at the same time, yung mga bangko conservative din naman yan sa pagpapautang. So hindi rin yan nagagamit lahat. They can only lend a certain portion, dahil they cannot risk everything. Now, M3, of course, health financial health ng mga financial institutions ang minimeasure. Okay? Next, interest rates. Okay. Interest rates is the price of money and is the result of choice between spending the money today or postponing the spending at a later date. For the borrower, interest represents the cost of spending the money now. For the lender, it is the compensation received for delaying the spending of money. So kung ikaw yung may pera, ikaw yung nagpapautang, kumikita ka through interest rates. Right? Yung borrower ka naman, ikaw umuutang, yung interest rate, cost mo yon sa pag-utang. So, kailangan mo i-factor in yon, babayaran mo yung utang mo, i-factor in mo yung interest rates. Now, saan ba pumapasok yan? Most of the time, meron kasi tayong tinatawag na, I think it's on the next topic. Ito, 3 ways government control money supply. Meron silang ini-establish na reserve requirements for bank and other depository institutions. That's for example, before pandemic, siguro higher yung reserve requirement ng central bank, which is the financial institution of the government. Sa reserve requirements sa mga bangko. Let's say, ang reserve requirements nila for before pandemic, for ano lang to, for purposes of discussion, I don't have the exact figure. You can find out for yourself. For example, let's say, per bank, ang reserve requirement nila is 10 billion. So, any assets or cash outside of 10 billion, pwede nilang gamitin pang pautang sa mga borrowers, no? Kung ano man yan, kung individual, retail man yan, or institutional, yung mautang sa kanila. Pagka nagkaroon ng pandemic, ang usual na ginagawa ng government, okay, pa-release natin yung pera sa system para gumana yung economy. So, ang gagawin nila, bababaan nila yung reserve requirements. So, example, kung before pandemic, 10 billion ang reserve requirement nila, gagawin na lang nilang 5 billion. So, may extra 5 billion yung per bank na pwedeng ipa-loan at mag-fuel ng economy natin. So, that's one way of controlling money supply. And then, buying and selling government securities in the open market. Okay. Si central bank kasi, no, they have the money. And then meron tayong Bureau of Treasuries. Nagpapa-auction yan ng mga T-bills. Yung T-bills, yan yung mga government IOUs. Ibig sabihin, paper yan na sinasabi na, okay, you are lending me 1 million with a fixed income of, let's say, 4% per annum. So bibigyan mo si Treasury bills, si Treasury, Bureau of Treasury na 1 million, pupunta yun sa Treasury ng government natin, ikaw naman, kikita ka ng 4% or 2% per annum. Okay? So, yun yung T-bills. Si central bank can step in kasi may pera siya eh. He can buy those treasury bills directly kung kailangan ng pera ng government. So, buying and selling securities in the open market, kayang kontrolin din ng government yung money supply. Number 3, setting the interest rates. Ito na nga, at which the central bank will loan funds to banks and other depository institutions. So may pera si central bank, di ba? Siya yung bangko ng mga banks. So pag ito si bangko, si BDO needs some money, no? Naubusan siya, let's say, meron siyang malaking project. He can loan money sa central bank. Central bank will impose interest rate. Yung interest rate na yan, minamanage siya ng central bank. So pagka gusto nilang kontrolin, overheating yung economy, masyadong mabilis yung kasi bad din yun eh. Kumbaga nga, the faster or the bigger we grow, the harder we fall, di ba? So, kinokontrol din yung pag-grow ng economy. Dapat kasi, we are slowly but surely going up, not yung napaka-rapid na rise and then bigla tayong babagsak. So, they can do that by controlling or setting the interest rates. So, pagka gusto nilang kontrolin, pabagalin yung sobrang bilis na pag-akit ng economy natin, tataasan nila yung interest rates. Kasi pag mataas ang interest rates, people will, not borrow money sa banks. Okay, teka muna, ang taas masyado, hindi ko kaya. So mag-i-slow down yung economy natin. To a certain point naman, na sumobang bagal naman, gusto naman pabilisin ni central bank or gawing at level man lang. So ang gagawin niya, bababain niya yung interest rates and then ang mga tao ngayon, uutang sa bangko. Okay? Ginawa yan nung nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic, binaba ni central bank yung interest. Pero gradual din, hindi rin bigla-bigla. Kasi you want your bullets reserved for the worst. So ang ginagawa niyan, usually 0.25%, pinakamalaki na yung 0.5% na akyat or pagbaba ng interest rates. Okay, so those are the three ways the government can control money supply. Now, punta naman tayo sa industry analysis. Na-discuss ko din ito ng Stock Market 101. For the benefit of those who did not attend, industry analysis this. You will analyze rivalry among existing competitors, threat of new entrants, threat of substitute products, and bargaining power of suppliers. Ang sinample ko noon is Jollibee kasi siya yung pinakakilala nating company. So, rivalry among existing competitors. Ever since na pumasok ang McDonald's dito sa Pilipinas, hindi nila tinalo yung Jollibee. No? Siguro sa panlasa natin ng Pinoy, mas gusto natin ang Jollibee against McDonald's. No? In the same manner din naman, which is also good for Jollibee, si Jollibee naman pumapasok na sa US and he's also winning the competition. No, may mga certain areas doon also although most likely dominated yun ng mga Filipino communities, tinatalo niya sa sales yung McDonald's. Not the entire US, obviously, certain areas. But that is a good start. Now, threat of new entrants, ano yung ginagawa ni Jollibee pag may bagong kalaban? Actually, hindi nga niya kalaban eh. Si Red Ribbon is sa cakes. Pero, malakas ang sales niya. Ano bang kalaban niya? Goldilocks. Contis is medyo higher end. Pero among the retail, it's Red Ribbon and Goldilocks. So, binili siya ni Jollibee. Pizza, they bought out Greenwich, Chowking, and then itong latest nila is yung Mang Inasal. Then abroad, they're also buying yung Coffee Bean Tea Leaf. It's a foreign brand na binili nila. It's owned by Jollibee right now. Of course, may mga factors din that is affecting those moves of theirs. Initially, napakaganda kasi kinakain nila yung mga competition. No? So, lumalawak yung dominance nila sa food or restaurant industry. Tapos they're putting their imprint na sa coffee by the acquisition of Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. But nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, we all know naman that the core business of Jollibee is franchising and mall operations. So affected sila doon. So tomorrow madidiscuss ko yan in detail kung bakit bumagsak yung presyo ng Jollibee. And time na ba siyang pulutin or hindi pa? Kailan? Kasi Jollibee is still Jollibee. No? This is a bad year, 2020, but we cannot discount the fact na previous to 2020, dominant naman siya. Okay? Number 3, threat of substitute products. Na-discuss ko ito nung Stock Market 101. Kung may anak kayong pumapasok, well, right now, work from home sila. No? Pero pwede mo pa rin natin apply. Monday, pakainin mo ng Jollibee Chicken Joy. Tuesday, hamburger. Wednesday, burger steak. Palabok on Thursday or spaghetti. And then Friday, yung lumpiang Shanghai. Each day of the week, kakainin ng anak mo yon. Dahil iba-iba naman siya. Pero it comes from Jollibee. No? So you are helping the cause of Jollibee. Lalong-lalo na kung shareholder ka ng Jollibee, you should buy their products. Now, ano yung threat niyan? Let's say meron uso ngayon yung mga baked sushi or yung sushi itself. I-serve mo yan sa anak mo ng Monday, tontuwa yan. Second day, medyo hindi na dahil medyo stale na pag second day nagsusushi ka pa kahit iba-iba pang klase ng sushi yan. Third, nananawa ka na doon sa wasabi sauce. Fourth, ayaw mo nang kainin yan. Fifth, aawayin ka na ng anak mo dahil for the whole week or 5 days, sushi yung sinerve mo sa kanya. Unlike doon sa Jollibee. No? So threat of substitute products, hindi ako masyadong worried. Secure na secure yung si Jollibee. Now, bargaining power of suppliers, hindi naman din masyado kasi ang raw materials ng Jollibee readily available sa Pilipinas. May beef, may chicken, no? Siguro medyo magkakaproblema tayo dun sa spaghetti, no? Yung noodles kasi weak yun. So, ine-export yan sa US pero lagi namang may oversupply ang US or other parts of the world, no? Italy, So hindi rin problema yung supplies ng spaghetti noodles. There is a time naman na nagkaroon ng problema sila sa suppliers, no? Nung nagkaroon tayo ng mga pandemic din actually hindi naman pandemic, no? Dahil sa area lang ng Southeast Asia and Asia yon, yung bird flu crisis. No? Nung nagkaroon ng bird flu crisis, naapektuhan yung mga local poultry natin. Medyo nagkakamatayan sila. No? So, ang tao natakot kumain ng chicken. There was a point in time na yung government mismo na umarap sila sa TV, sa camera, and pinirito yung chicken and sinabi nila, okay na kainin to kahit may bird flu, basta naprito mabuti. Pero people did not buy it. No? So naapektuhan yung sales ng Jollibee, hindi lang Jollibee, lahat ng mayroong mga chicken, KFC, Chickies. So may mga times din na naapektuhan yung power of supplies. Magkakaroon ng problema yung company. Pero right now, what is affecting Jollibee? The COVID-19 pandemic. Malls are literally halos zero people lang pumupunta. Kahit na GCQ na ngayon, you try going sa malls, walang pumapasok. Now, pag walang pumapasok, yung dine-in segment nila is dead. Dead talaga. I mean, I've been going around. And meron yung takeout, but it's still not enough. It's not sufficient to carry the brand for Jollibee. So they are really affected. Hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas kasi meron silang Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. Yung Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf dito sa Pilipinas halos patay because of the COVID-19. What else pa sa abroad, no? So malaking problema ni Jollibee. If you don't do the industry analysis, hindi mo malalaman. Bibili ka lang ng bibili. Pagtingin mo sa presyo, yung mura na ni Jollibee, galing 200 ito, nasa ano na lang, 60 na lang, or 40, or 30, or 20, or 10 pesos na lang. Bili ka ng bili habang bumababa, hindi mo binabasa yung industry analysis. Magkakaproblema ka. So yung value niyan. Now, meron din tayong tinatawag na industry life cycle. Yung introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Ang best example niyan is dun sa graph. Okay. So pag bago yung company, it will grow dahan-dahan, and then yung growth naman na period, medyo malaki nang iaakit niyan, and then yung maturity, when you say maturity, medyo dominant na sila dun sa sector nila. Okay, so introduction, kailan ba na-introduce si Jollibee? I think it was late 70s, no? So nagkaroon siya ng tremendous growth between 80s and 90. And then nag-mature siya sa 90s to present. Now, dominant na siya sa sector na yon. Maaring magdi-decline na siya. Tama? Bakit siya magdi-decline? Kasi na-achieve na niya yung highest growth potential. Now, when you do that, ang tendency ng company is mag-diversify. Okay? Magbibigay pa ako ng isang sample mamaya. Pero let's stick with Jollibee. So kaya nila in-acquire yung Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. They want to diversify doon sa coffee business, which is good. Diba? Last year yung 2019, they acquired Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. Kasi malaki din yung coffee market. I mean, ako lang, I drink coffee all the time. No? Meron akong coffee dito sa tabi ko. I cannot start my day without a cup of coffee. Now, people throughout the day drink tons and tons of coffee. Ako, siguro mga 4 cups ng malalaki per day yan. So, it's a good decision to diversify into the coffee market. Kaya lang, tinamaan sila ng pandemic. Okay? Ang problema niyan, hindi sila maka-cope up. No? Obviously, they're trying online deliveries, but it's going to take some time para masanay ang tao. Because we're used to going sa malls and yung mga street restaurants nila. Doon tayo na kumakain ng Jollibee, doon tayo umiinom ng coffee sa Coffee Bean. So magkakaroon ng decline. Another company, yung San Miguel Corporation, they started at the turn of the century, noong 1900s pa. Panahon pa nila Rizal. No? May San Miguel na noon. Hindi ko alam kung paano nila pinapalamig yun. So they experienced tremendous growth siguro nung panahon ng Amerikano, and then natigil yun nung panahon ng World War II, and then napakahabang maturity period, 1950s to present, napakalaki ng San Miguel. Pero they came to a point in time na wala nang growth. Bakit? Alam na nila kasi kung ilang San Miguel beer bottles ang iinumin ng Pilipino sa isang taon. And at the same time, alam na rin nila kung ilang hotdogs ang kakainin ng mga anak natin sa isang taon. So, na-reach na nila yung peak. So, anong ginagawa nila? They are diversifying. Saan pumapasok si San Miguel? Infrastructure. So, pumapasok sila sa airport, yung sa Bulacan. They are bidding out sa mga highways, no? So sa mga toll business pumapasok na sila. Ano pa ba? Airports, seaports, pumapasok na si San Miguel yun yung nagda-diversify. Okay? So ibig sabihin niyan, they don't want to rely on one industry, no? Which is the food industry. Well, actually, kahit nga yung food industry, naapektuhan din yan. Pero ang maganda sa San Miguel, during the pandemic, ang pinagkaiba kasi nila with Jollibee is mall-based, no? San Miguel, hindi. They rely on their network. So, meron na silang network ng distribution. So, kahit na walang malls, they can distribute sa mga provinces, tapos pumupunta yan sa mga retail stores, yung mga products sila. Or groceries. Groceries kasi hindi namatay during pandemic. That's why Pure Gold is doing well. Kasi kahit na anong mangyari, ang tao kakain at kakain. Na-discuss ko din yan before doon sa Stock Market 101 na meron tayong mga defensive stocks and food is a defensive stock. So, yun yung ginawa ni San Miguel. Dominated natin yung food industry. We will diversify. Pasok tayo dito sa infrastructure. No, binitawan nila yung telecoms eh. Hindi nila gusto, siguro malaki kasi yung outlay, no, cash outlay. So, they went into infrastructure and what will happen? They will grow with the economy, no? Kailangan ng bansa natin ngayon ng road networks and they are doing that. Kailangan ng bansa natin ngayon ng mga gandang airports and San Miguel is doing that. So, there is a good prospect, good future for San Miguel, based on the diversification that they did. Now later on, well, I'll give you another example. Ano? May mga diversification na pumalpak. Lopez Group, pasok sila sa telecoms, buy and tell, bagsak. Pasok sila sa water utilities, Maynilad, bagsak. No? Diniscuss ko na nung Market 101 kung ano yung mga reasons behind that. They were into power din. No? Nasa kanila yung Meralco before. Kaso nag-overcharge sila, tapos the court says you have to pay the consumers whatever you owe them. Hindi nila mabayaran, they sold to Manny Pangilinan. Manny Pangilinan MVP Group now owns Meralco. So yung diversification na ginawa nila, hindi maganda. ABS-CBN is good, but yun, wala silang franchise. So malaki din ang problema ni Lopez Group. No? So the only thing going for them, I think, is First Gen. Yung power generation company nila, which is doing well. Any power generation company sa Pilipinas, I think, will do good. Kasi reliant tayo, wala tayong masyadong mga alternative energy. Okay? Next, company analysis. No? How do you do this? Management track record. Ito na nga sinabi ko. No? If you're buying San Miguel, based on what they are right now, that's good dahil maganda pa rin yung food sector. And if you're buying San Miguel, based on their future, which is infra, it's also good, di ba? Now, earnings report, as I said, nung stock market 101 natin, don't just rely on quarterly and yearly. Go back, no? Mag-back check ka. 5 years, even 10 years. Saan mo kukunin? Sa electronic disclosure system ng Philippine Stock Exchange, which is called PSE Edge. I'm sure by now, dapat lahat kayo na nabisita na ninyo yung Edge. Nandiyan yung mga information, earnings, financial ratios ng company, any development for that matter, nakalagay sa PSEX. And then number 3, expansionary plans. No? Ito na nga, kung yung diversification mo nagiging diversification, malaking problema yan. Now, management-employee relationship also affects company. Ang example ko noon yung PLDT nung Stock Market 101 kasi nung mid-90s they were shifting from what? Yung mga toll pole lines, no? Yung nasa poste yung kanilang mga linya, to fiber optics, which is nasa ilalim na ng lupa at sobrang liliit lang, no? Halos invisible to the eye. Naapektuhan yung mga engineers na umakyat sa poste, naapektuhan yung mga telephone operators. So nagwelga yung mga yon to the point na almost mabankrupt ang PLDT kahit na maganda yung ship nila. Dahil sila yung unang nag-ship sa fiber optics. Kaso sa welga na ginawa ng mga tao, na-paralyze yung operations nila. Muntik silang malugi. Again, who came in? Sino yung White Knight? MVP Group ulit. So MVP Group now owns PLDT and Smart. So check-checkin natin lahat yan, itong mga metrics na to. Okay? Now, part of the company analysis na hindi ko diniscuss ng Stock Market 101 is this one. Metrics of equity securities. Okay? Madami to, no? I mean, I will just discuss how many lang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 metrics that I use and I think is important for us to come into conclusion kung bibili natin yung company or hindi. Okay, now later, i-discuss ko yung exception to the rule dyan. Hindi lahat ng stocks na binibili mo in any exchange for that matter, ginagamitan ng metrics of equity securities. But if you're going to buy the blue chips, no, sasabihin mo long term ako, I want to just beat the inflation, so ang purpose mo is capital preservation, no, sobrang yaman mo na, and you don't want to participate doon sa capital growth naman, no? So doon ka lang sa preservation. Yung metrics na to, yung metrics of equity securities is important. So first factor na kukunin mo is yung dividend yield. Okay? What is dividend yield? The income component of a stock's return stated as a percentage of the current market price of the stock. So for example, si ABC stock price, ang market price niya is 2 pesos. Ang dividend na binibigay niya annual, on a regular basis is 10 centavos. So the dividend yield is 5%. Bakit naging 5% yung dividend yield? Market price is 2, ang binibigay na dividend is 0.10. Kasi ito yung formula ng dividend yield. Dividend per share, which is 0.10. Tama? Over market price, which is 2 pesos. So pag ang dividend yield mo is 5%, regular binibigay ng company, good na yan. Bakit? Bakit siya good? Inflation rate natin nag-average lang sa 2 to 2.5%. So kung makakita ka ng company na ang dividend yield is 5%, regularly, annual, pwede mo na siyang i-long term. Kasi ma-preserve na yung pera mo, yung value ng pera mo, kasi ang inflation natin is at 2% lang or 2.5. Tapos kumikita ka ng 5%. So hindi lang siya preservation, meron pang konting growth, may 2.5 na kita ka pa. Okay? So kung meron kang 100 million sa bangko na matatalo lang sa interest, let's say ang binibigay ng bangko sa is 0.4. Tapos ang inflation rate is 2 or 2.5. So lugi ka na agad. I would rather buy a stock that has a dividend yield of 5%. Correct? So this is how you use this metric, particular metric, dividend yield. Importante yan. Ha? So yung formula niya is dividend per share and market per share. So ang dividend yield na hinahanap mo has to beat the inflation figures for the last 10 years or 5 years. So for the last 10 years or 5 years, I think it's around 2.5%. So meron kang dividend yield na 5% is good. Next, earnings per share. Okay, EPS. The portion of a company's profit allocated to each outstanding share of a common stock. So parang ito na yung dividend share mo na rin, ano? Earnings per share serves as an indicator of company's profitability. So habang malaki yung tumataas yung earnings per share, ibig sabihin profitable throughout the years yung company. Ano yung kanyang formula? Net income minus dividend on preferred stocks. Di ba diniscuss natin yung preferred stocks gets prior preference over common stock. Binabayaran muna dahil may coupon na yan eh. Diba? Meron na siyang fixed income yung preferred stock. So net income, pag net, ibig sabihin na less na yung mga taxes, lahat ng gastos, retained earnings, so net na siya. Ililess mo yung dividend on preferred stocks. i-divide mo siya sa number of outstanding common shares, yan yung earnings per shares mo. Hindi ibig sabihin yan na ibibigay sa'yo ng company. Okay? Minsan kasi hindi nagbibigay ng dividend yung company, pero titingnan mo yung reason. Bakit? Baka may malaki kayong project next year that will make your company the blue chip of your sector. So, natural lang, hindi muna sila magbibigay ng dividend. Pero if there's no reason, they should. Part holder ka ng company, isa ka sa mga owners. Okay? So, yun yung EPS. Next metric is price earnings ratio. Lagi nating naririnig ito, PER or PE multiple, another term for this, PE multiple. Corporations earning multiple. A high PE means that investors are paying a high market price for today's earnings. Or it could also mean that investors are upbeat on the prospects of the company. PE multiple kasi parang ito yan eh. Binayaran mo yung stock, bumili ka ng stock at 2 pesos. Okay? Tapos si stock, nagbibigay ng dividend na 20 centavos annually. Di ba? So ilang years bago ka mabayaran based on dividend alone? 10 years. So ang PE multiple nung stock na binili mo is 10, which is good, no? Short term pa yon. So ibig sabihin, yung binayad mo na 2 pesos, may babalik sa'yo after 10 years. No? Anything outside of that, nagbigay pa ng extra dividend, and then after 10 years is also your earnings potential na doon sa pagbili mo ng stock na yun. Okay? So ang formula niya is market per share and then earnings per share. So yung market price over earnings per share. Now, with the exception of growth and speculative stocks, a PE ratio or PE multiple of 20, more than 20 is expensive. So, kailangan lower than 20. So, yun yung time horizon. Ano? So, kung naglo-long term ka, pag mong iisipin na long-term player ako sa market, 2 to 3 years lang mag-out ako, hindi ka long-term. Ang time horizon ng long-term is around 20 years. Okay, so capital preservation ka talaga doon, hindi yung price appreciation or yung capital appreciation ng habol mo. So, based on a PE ratio, pwede ka mag-decide kung anong stock ang bibilin mo for long term. With the exception of growth and speculative stock. Bakit? Sa growth and speculative stock kasi, kalimitan yung mga yan, walang earnings. You're relying on future earnings or developments within the company, kaya nga may speculative stocks in nature. Now, maaari namang hindi ka bumibili ng stock because of capital preservation. Dito naman ang habol mo is price appreciation. So you can let go of this metric. Kasi may mga stocks na binibili ngayon. For example, Vito Telecom, walang earnings yun. They're just about to start. Diba? So napakataas ng PE niyan pagka kinumpute nyo. You try it. Gawin ninyong assignment ninyo. Kunin ninyo yung PE ratio ng Vito Telecoms. Now, may mga iba pa na ang PE ratio is around 80. Ang taas niyan, ang market natin is averaging around 20. So, dapat lower than 20 yung binibili mo if you're doing long term. Pero if you're doing growth and speculative stocks, you can throw this metric away. Okay? Next, sample ng PE, price to earnings or PE ratio may be the simplest way to know the value of the stock. Here's how the PE is computed. For example, company ABC has total shares of 1,000 shares. Ang income niya is 100 annual for computation purposes lang ito. EPS now may be computed by dividing the income over the number of shares. So in this case, 100 over 1,000. So ang PE niya is 0.1. Okay. This means that a share of company makes 0.1 per year. EPS shows the true value of the company. So bakit? Kasi yun yung actual na binayad mo yung price. Tapos yung earnings na binibigyan niya sa'yo annually. So 0.1 yan. Now, PE ratio on the other hand show how much a share of stock is valued by the investor. If ABC company was selling for 1 peso per year, that gives it 1 over 0.1, which is equivalent to 10 PE. So in 10 years, dahil 1 peso yung binayad mo, di ba? And then 0.1 yung kinikita mo per year. no? So 10 centavos. So in 10 years, you will get what you paid for, the stock. No? Tapos meron ka pang ownership, tapos may mga succeeding dividends ka pa. So it's a good deal for you dahil 10 years lang, mababawi mo na yung uh, investment mo, 2 dividends pa lang or sa earnings, and lampas-lampas sa time horizon mo. Kasi pag nag-long term ka, you're talking at least 20-year horizon. Diba? So misnomer yun, bumili ko ng stock pero ibebenta ko yan 2 or 3 years from now kasi long term ako. That's wrong. No, ang time horizon ng long term is napakahaba. And kalimitan pa, and I will tell you this story, itong dahilan kung bakit nagiging long term ang tao. No, pinost ko to several years ago, but I will tell it to you right now. And ito yan. Umattend kayo ng webinars natin, Stock Market 101, umattend ka nung technical analysis, and now you're attending fundamental analysis. Let's say, napag-aralan mo mabuti, nag-prepare ka mabuti, naging genius ka na. Okay, ready ka na pumasok sa stock market. Tinawagan mo ako, sir, open na ako ng account sa Eagle, nag-practice na ako mabuti, may mga trading plan na ako. Siyempre ako, sabi ko, okay, good, do it. Ito ka na ngayon, meron ka ng napiling stock. Si stock ADC, bumili ka at 1 peso, nag-set ka ng trading plan mo. Kailangan at 150, I will sell. 50% return, which is good. Tapos pag hindi tumama yung trading plan ko, I will cut at 80 cents, which is 20% loss. Still good, manageable, kaya mong bawiin sa ibang trade yun. So pumasok ka na, bumili ka ng 1 peso. Stock went to 150. Okay. Tiningnan mo, magbebenta na ba ako? So pumunta ka ulit doon sa technical analysis natin. Uy, may volume pa na pumapasok. Diba? Sabi ko, yung if the breakout has to be sustained, the volume has to be maintained. So pag may volume pa, lalakas, hindi mo na ako magbebenta. Baka umabot pa ng 2 pesos kasi you're feeling genius na eh. Alam mo na yung basic, alam mo na yung technical, alam mo na yung fundamental. Umabot ng 2 pesos. So 100% return ka na. Umayaw ka pa rin bumenta. Sabi mo, aabot pa ito ng 3 pesos. Gumawa ka uli ng mga study, nag-target price ka, gumawa ka ng mga support and resistance mo, binabantayan mo yung volume, and sa projection mo, mukhang kayang umabot ng 3. Hindi masama mangarap, di ba? Ang problema natin, from 2, hindi na umabot ng 3. Instead, bumaba na ng 150. Eh, nagbabasa ka ng mga books, sasabihin mo ngayon, correction lang yan because nothing goes up on a straight line. From 150, bumaba ng piso. So, balik ka ngayon sa original price mo. Zero profit, zero loss. Anong sasabihin mo sa sarili mo? Ang tanga-tanga ko naman. Diba? Bakit ako magbibenta sa piso? Nag-2 piso na nga ito. I will stick to my target price of 150. Pag umabot ng 150 yan, I will sell. Kaso bumaba ng 80. You are facing from 100% return, you are now facing 20% loss. Ang problema ngayon yan, tatawag si misis mo. Honey, di ba bumili ka ng stock na to? Sabi sa akin ng boss ko, umakyat ng 2 pesos yan. Nakabenta ka pa. Ano na sabihin mo? Honey, long term ako. Yan yung totoong kwento ng mga long term sa stock market. Ang totoo niyan, ipit sila. Because believe me, everybody, retail, pumapasok, they want to earn as fast as they can. If it doesn't happen, hindi nila na-apply yung trading plan nila, nagiging long-term sila. Next week, i-discuss natin yan further as we discuss market psychology. Okay, so hopefully sana mag-attend pa rin kayo because this is going to be a continuing process. Actually, hindi pala next week, sorry. Wala pala akong session next week kasi it's my birthday week, no? So mag-move tayo ng 1 week further. Okay? So, let us proceed dito muna sa fundamental analysis. Okay, another metric of equity securities is book value. Lagi natin naririnig ito. Book value per share gives the asset value of each share based on the company's account. Total cost or shareholders' equity over the number of outstanding shares. So, ito yung formula niya. Shareholders' equity. By shareholders' equity, I have a note here, no? Babasahin ko lang. Okay. That's it. Okay. Shareholders' equity, this includes outstanding shares, additional paid-in capital, retained earnings, and treasury stocks. In short, ito yung mga actual uh, assets ng company less the liabilities. So pagka na-less mo na yung liabilities mo, ito na yung net. Lahat nabayaran mo na yung bangko, yung mga preferred shares, lahat ng mga may nag-aabol sa company nyo, nabayaran na ninyo. Tapos, yung total value nun, yung cost nun, yun yung shareholders' equity. Now, that is supposedly pagka na-bankrupt kayo at niliquidate yung assets ninyo lahat, nabayaran na lahat, may natira, yun yung i-divide sa inyo. So, yung book value nun, yung shareholders' equity, i-divide yun doon sa outstanding shares. Kaya nga, lahat kayo na yon. So, let's say ang book value is 5 pesos. Okay? Or 450 yung stock na binili mo. So, per share yan. So, kung ilang shares ang hawak mo, yun yung magiging book value ng hawak mo na per share pag niliquidate. Okay? So, kaya tinitingnan yung book value kasi compare sa market price. Pagka mas mababa yung market price, maybe the company is undervalued or in distress or trading at a discount. Let's say 450 yung market value, ang book value ng company. Pero yung market price niya is trading only at 1 pesos or 2 pesos. 1 peso or 2 pesos. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Baka naapektuhan sila ng pandemic. So maybe it's a good time to start accumulating doon sa company na yun. Kasi yung book value nga niya mas mataas pa sa price, meaning to say temporary lang siguro yung problema ng company. Now, doon sa market 101 din natin, or I think that sa technical analysis, I discussed si Warren Buffett. Si Warren Buffett kasi known siya as a value investor, no? Yung boss niya dati si Benjamin Graham, yun yung tunay na father ng value investing. Si Warren Buffett, siya yung nag-apply, kaya siya yung yumaman. Okay? Now, ang ginagawa ni Warren Buffett, he looks for company that is undervalued or in distress. Ibig sabihin, maganda yung company nito, kaya lang nagkaroon lang ng problema ngayon for a certain reason or another. So binibili niya yon. Ang pinagkaiba lang natin, kaya hindi natin ma-apply talaga yung process ni Warren Buffett. Kasi madaming mga nababasa kayo sa social media that they're saying, I'm a value investor. Parang demigod ko si Warren Buffett. Hello? Kaya mo bang bumili ng buong company? Okay? Or majority, at least majority ng company. Because that's what Warren Buffett does. Hindi siya basta nagtitrade lang looking for undervalued or company in distress. He buys the whole company or the majority. Nag-i-infuse siya ng capital kasi he believes the company can turn around. So pag binili niya yung sa mababa at nag-turn around, nabili niya ng mura, he can sell at a higher price. Diba? And meron na siyang control ng company. So yun yung pinag-iba ng value investing ni Warren Buffett sa value investing nating mga retail. Don't think na you will hold on for it forever na ginagawa ngayon ni Warren Buffett na buy siya and he takes over the company, no? Tayo, we can look for an undervalued stock based on book value, pero we trade it, 'di ba? Okay, 1 peso siya ngayon. Before pandemic, it was trading at 7 pesos, so 2 pesos above book value of the company. If I excuse me, if I bought it at 1 or 2, probably by the time it reaches 4, that's 100% already, I will sell na. You don't hold on to that position thinking that you will become the next Warren Buffett. It doesn't work that way. Okay? So, price to book value, market price over book value per share. So anything below 3 of price to book can mean a company is undervalued or in distress. So yun na nga yung binigay ko na example. Companies that book value of 450 tapos nasa 150 ngayon. So less than 3 siya. So it's a good company, undervalued and under. Pero titingnan mo din how it was before the pandemic. It doesn't mean to say na maaari kasing may mga stocks na below book value siya compared sa price. But at the same time, 10 years na pala siyang below book value dahil wala na palang operations yung company or wala nang income. Mga ganun eh. Shell company ang tawag doon. Okay? So pag shell company naman, you buy pagka merong rumor. Somebody is going to take over. Somebody is going to use it as a backdoor. So that is the reason why you will buy the shell company. Itatapon mo na yung PE, itatapon mo na yung book value. So yun yung mga exception to the rule. So book value, shareholders equity, over outstanding shares. And then price to book value, dahil i-compare mo nga yung price niya, which is at 1 peso, for example, right now, and then book value is at 4.50. So at trading at a discount siya based on book value. So isa yan sa mga metrics for you to decide kung bibili ka ng stock na yan or hindi. This can be used for growth companies and this can also be used for long term. Should be used for long term. No? So dapat hindi masyadong malayo yung presyo ng book value dun sa price. Okay? Pagka long term yung time frame mo sa stock market. Okay. Next, debt to equity. Okay. Importante din ito. A debt ratio used to measure a company's financial leverage. It shows how much debt a company uses to fund its assets compared to value of shareholders' equity. So, ang mini-measure natin dito kasi, may mga company kasi na parang tinatawag natin palagong baboy. Alam mo yun? Palagong baboy, ang dami-dami niyang iniisip na projects. Pero the shareholders or the owners itself doesn't want to put in money to finance those projects. So ang ginagawa nila, utang kabi-kabila. Okay? May isang company na ganun din tayong kalala. Utang kabi-kabila ang ginagawa. So mami-measure mo yung debt to equity niya by using this formula, total liabilities tapos over total shareholders equity. Okay. Ano yung shareholders equity? Yun yung less liabilities, less due to preferred shareholders. So yun yung value ng actual value ng ownership mo doon sa company na yan. So may problema ka pagka malaki pa yung liabilities mo sa total shareholders equity. Kasi the owners cannot pay for the liabilities. Okay, so sa mga bangko, kino-consider nila ito. Pag lumapit yung company na yan and they want to borrow money, pag malaki pa yung debt to equity mo, most likely hindi ka nila pautangin. Okay? So pagka pinauutang ka naman ng pinauutang, ibig sabihin, baka maganda yung debt to equity mo. You have the ability to pay your debts in the future. Yun yung kini-question ngayon sa Philippine government. Ano? If I will just segue ng konti. Bakit daw tayo ng utang? Previously, we're not. No? Hindi natin ini-expend yung utang natin totally. But because of the pandemic and we need to finance our economy and support our people, the government is using that option. Nagtataka yung mga tao, bakit ang daming utang? Actually, it's good. It shows na yung economy ng Pilipinas is in good standing. That is why the financial institutions walang kibit-balikat pag lumapit yung Philippines. So sige, we will give you this at this interest rate option. We are able to support our economy and our people during the pandemic. Now tomorrow, i-discuss ko how are we going to sustain those loans habang we slowly open our economy. That is another session. But for the meantime, debt to equity, when you're deciding to buy a stock for the long term, or lalong-lalo na dito sa mga growth stocks, yung mga madaming mga big ticket projects, titingnan ninyo yung debt to equity niya. Lahat naman ng mga items na diniscuss natin dito, for example, dividend yield, earnings per share, price earnings ratio or PE multiple, book value, shareholders equity, outstanding shares, and ito debt to equity, you can look for it sa electronic disclosure system ng PSE, which is PSE Edge. Okay? So, lahat ng information na yan available dyan. And if not naman, you can also look for it on your own. No? Pumunta kayo doon sa mga website nung companies involved na binibili ninyo. Check out their annual report. Lahat ito nandoon yan sa annual report. Now doon naman sa economic analysis, GNP, GDP, inflation, money supply, and interest rates. As I said, dapat lagi kayong aware sa current events. Okay, and then you visit the past, no? Kasi you will not know the value of GNP, GDP, inflation, money supply, and interest rate without comparing it to the previous performance. Okay, so that is how you do fundamental analysis. Now, napakadami pang metrics, but these top 7, I think these 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the important ones. No? Take note of this. Dividend yield, earnings per share, PE ratio, book value, shareholders equity, outstanding shares, and then debt to equity. Dapat alam ninyo to. Ay, isa pa pala, price to book value. Okay, so we add one. Price to book value, yung diniscuss natin kanina. You bought the price at the share at 150. So ang price niya is at 150, tapos yung book value niya is 450. So meron siyang trading at a discount based on book value. So we will end the session at this point, and we will open it on open the question and answer portion. Mas medyo maaga tayong natapos ngayon, dahil maikli lang naman talaga tong fundamental analysis eh. Kasi if you will add more metrics, malilito na lang din kayo. So pinili ko lang yung mga importante na metrics na dapat aware kayo when you're deciding to buy a stock. Again, you can contact me to this email address. Siguro pwede ninyong kunan ng screenshot ito. fbmartinez@apec-invest.ph, and then Facebook page of Fernando Martinez-Kiss. Meron din ako ng APEC Wealth Consulting Corporation. And meron akong Facebook group na Smart Investors, Bears and Bulls. And then my telephone numbers. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and then you can visit our website. Now, you can also send me personal messages, private messages. Pagka meron kayong mga gustong tanongin, I will try my best to answer them. Hintayin nyo lang kasi madaming nagme-message sa akin. So, sometimes it will take a day or two bago ko maka-respond sa mga questions niyo. But I will see to it that I will respond. Sa mga hindi naka-attend last week, okay, we are thinking of posting the videos, Stock Market 101, and then the technical analysis, siguro towards the end of September or around October na. Tayin-tayin na muna naming matapos itong mga series of webinars na ito. Pero I would strongly suggest that you attend the live, Bakit? Kasi when you attend the live, baka by the time we post this sa YouTube, gumalaw na yung market. Okay? Now, ang purpose lang naman ng pagpo-post nito sa YouTube is yung continuing education ninyo. You want to brush up, mayroon natang naituro doon na hindi ko naintindihan mabuti, pwede ninyong balikan. Ang importante din siguro is yung tomorrow, kasi I will be giving out my sectors to watch. So kung ano yung mga sectors na magli-lead sa recovery, and most importantly, yung stock to watch. Kasi yun na yung stock picks ko for the pandemic induced crisis that we are experiencing right now. So I feel that these sectors, these stocks will be the leaders, as we recover. Slowly recover, hindi ito magiging biglaang recovery. So I firmly believe, which I will discuss further tomorrow, that we have seen the worst so far. So with that, I will turn over the floor to Olga. And
Okay.
makapag-start tayo ng
Okay.
question
Okay, you
and
may
answer.
now start posting your questions in our chat box. First question from Mr. Paul Lapining. Sir, yung CHP P over book value since 2017 to 2019 is less than 1. Does this mean the company is in bad situation na po ba since 2017 to 18 is not yet pandemic?
Before pa nung pandemic, bumababa na yung presyo ng CHP. No? So I think hindi ito COVID-19 induced problem for them. What is good siguro is that mababa na siya. But again, it doesn't mean to say na you will buy na pag mababa ang stock. Eh. Kasi nga meron tayong tinatawag na yung do not catch a falling knife. Now, when do you buy in? Let's say pina-follow mo talaga itong CHP and you see some turnaround sa company, gumaganda na yung earnings niya, or may mga projects na bago, or whatever developments you see in the company. Again, based on technical analysis last week, no, discussion natin, watch out muna sa volume. Okay? Kasi meron ka ng established range. I'm sure, no, if you follow CHP, meron kang established range. So kung yung range na yon binibreak na niya, meaning to say resistance binibreak niya, mako-confirm lang yan if there is volume involved. No, kasi kung walang volume, maaaring false breakout lang yan. So bababa din siya uli and you will be left buying a stock that is continuously going down. So watch out for developments and then watch out for the breakout sa price and watch out for the volume if there is some demand or volume coming in. Next question.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Alex San Miguel. If you use one FA indicator, what is the best?
You don't use one. Just like sa technical analysis, you have to have a confirmatory. No? So confirmation is important pagdating sa mga indicators and dito sa FA, ganun din. So for me, I always look for dividend yield and then PE. Kino-complement yun ng PE. So what will work for you is try mo lahat tong diniscuss natin and then tingnan mo, gawa ka ng mga trading journal mo, then I chose this stock, I bought this stock because of these metrics that I saw in this particular stock. Tapos gawa ka ng trading plan mo based on the technical analysis, target price, cut loss price. Pagka for the last month, yung 10 stocks mo na pinili, lugi lahat. Kahit na gumawa ka na nung metrics na to, no, yung fundamental metrics, and then gumawa ka ng technical analysis, doon mo yung tingnan, saan ba yung mga mali dito sa metrics na ginagamit ko? Baka kailangan tanggalin ko to or kailangan palitan ko ito. And then sa technical analysis, ganun din, baka kailangan tanggalin ko itong indicator kasi masyado siyang lagging, masyado late. So, yun yung mga paraan, ano? There's no other way around. Hindi ito mabilisan, hindi ito madalian. Kahit na naka-attend ka na ng sobrang daming mga webinars, seminars, you have to practice on your own. Diba? So yung system will only be developed pag pinractice mo. You can do naman practice trading or mock trading na tinatawag without involving the money. Kasi yung prices, nandiyan na siya, it is happening in front of you. So pwede ka nang gumawa ng fundamental metrics, target prices sa technical analysis, then you have a sound trading plan. I-apply mo na. Gawin mo na yon for the next 30 days or so. As check on your performance. Lagi ka nagba-backtrack. Next question.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Romy. I want to open an account. How to do it?
Okay. Opening an account is just like opening a bank account. Ano? So you will fill out what we call this, a client account information form, KAIP. No? So parang account opening form siya. And then you will fund the account. Once you fund the account, you can start trading. You can buy stocks now or sell if you have a position. You may want to get in touch with Ms. Olga Buenaventura, nag-email sa inyo. She handles our customer service. So you can send her a private message or drop her an email on your inquiries on opening an account. Next question.
Okay. Next question from Miss Ivy. For trading, do you still use all these metrics? Which of these metrics are non-negotiable for you when it comes to trading?
Okay, when I'm trading, I don't trade kasi for the long term. So short-term trader na ako ngayon. I don't use so many metrics sa fundamental kasi most of the time sa price action ako. So technical analysis talaga yung ginagamit ko. But I do consider dividend yield and PE ratio. Okay? Tapos sa mga medyo times na ganito, which is important dahil meron tayong crisis which is pandemic induced, no, COVID-19 induced. Yung book value and then price to book value, importante na sinisilip mo. Pero it should not be the only metric for you to decide kung maganda na yung stock. Kasi pwede nga siyang lower than book value pero lower than book value na pala siya for the last 10 years. So no, there's no reason for you to buy that stock unless masubject siya for speculation or takeover rumors. So kung may makita ka naman ng mga stocks na ang book value is bumaba because of pandemic induced, yung COVID-19 induced, you may want to look into yung developments within the company. For example, Jollibee, dapat tinitingnan natin how they are adjusting. Kasi the mall operation is going to be dead siguro for at least another year. Dead yan. Unless there is a vaccine na bilang lahat ng tao sa buong mundo nagpa-injection. Then everything goes back to normal. But I doubt it will happen in a year. Diba? So maaaring magkaroon ng mga vaccines or medicines na magpapagaling pero andyan pa rin yung COVID. So hindi pa rin tayo totally magiging back to prior COVID-19 na lifestyle. So titingnan mo yon. San Miguel is good. They're still doing good doon sa kanilang food industry, but at the same time they are diversifying to sectors na tingin ko will lead the recovery. Infrastructure will lead the recovery of our country. So that's the way I do it.
Okay, next question from Mr. Nero Medillo. How do you create your watch list?
Okay, as I said, I'm not trading short term. I don't do stock picks based on dividend yield, no, hindi na. And I don't settle for dividends that will give me 10% or 5%. No? Kasi I'm not out to beat the inflation rate only. I am for capital creation, not preservation. You know? I came from a normal family. Hindi kami hindi kami napakayaman, no? Ordinary family kami. So whatever I have right now is based on my trading sa stock market. I provide for my family. I give them good education. I give them good shelter, good transportation. So lahat yun nakuha ko sa stock market and I gave them those by trading short term. Short term to medium term, never long term. Kasi kung long term, it's 20 years in the horizon. I cannot do that. Okay, so ang aking mga stock picks is mostly yung mga actively trading stocks. So kung hindi ka nasa actively trading stocks, baka wala ka doon sa stock picks ko or sa mga stock lists na pinapalo ko. Now, every person is different. You may be good short term to medium term, pero merong mga taong magaling sa long term. So I don't take that away from them. So kaya nga doon sa sinabi ko sa Stock Market 101 natin, you have to identify your category. Nasa investing ka ba, trading, or speculative in nature, kaya mo. So walang pilitan nito. Hindi ko pinipili sa inyo maging short term to medium term lang kayo. If you prepare long term, no, yung tipong gusto ko, magandang ko yung retirement ko, you can do that. No, tapos just make sure you beat the inflation figures annually. Diba? And try to, hindi lang beat, earn a little. So para may growth din yung funding nyo. Okay, next.
Okay, next question from Mr. Paul Lapining. How does M&A affect a certain company? Bad side and good side, sir. Thanks.
Mergers and acquisition.
Yes.
Usually, bad yan for the one who is buying kasi it will have extensive cost. No? But you have to understand the underlying factors why they are buying. Doon naman sa binibili, ina-acquire, immediate yan, it will go up. Lalong-lalo na kung for the last 5 or 10 years, wala nang activity yung company na yun. And then all of a sudden, somebody's buying them. So kung listed yan, most likely, mag-react, it will go up yung presyo. So the one that is trying to acquire naman, malaki yung cost nun, bumaba siya ng konti. Pero in the long term, siya kasi makikinabang doon sa pagbili niya doon sa ina-acquire niya na company. It will be good for the company. Again, use your anong tawag doon? Common sense. No? Sabi ko nga doon sa technical indicators na ginamit natin last week. I use several and then don't forget common sense. So, same thing din dito sa fundamental analysis. Now, maaaring ang immediate effect nung sa bumibili, bababa. Pero common sense tells you, makikinabang sila dyan a year or two. So maybe it's a good time to accumulate habang bumababa. Kung meron ka namang extra income dun sa ina-acquire, alam mo nga akit yun, you may try to buy the price action. Pero again, set your target profits and cut loss kasi walang guarantee yun. Okay? Next. Next question.
Hello. Next question from Ms. Joyce. Is Makati Subway going to be connected with Metro Manila Subway?
Okay. Metro Manila Subway, nagkaroon ng mga importanteng disclosures yesterday. No? Pinakita na yung boring machine na dadalhin. Sabi nila, January 2021. That is good. IRC naman, yung proponent ng Makati Subway, nagkaroon din ng update. No? Ang update naman nila, they are buying the lands na gagamitin naman na dadaanan ng Makati Subway, which is also good. Meaning to say, both projects will proceed. Diba? Mag-umpisa at mukhang matatapos naman sila. Before Makati Subway, I think it was Makati Subway who came in first and disclosed that they will put up Makati Subway bago nagkaroon ng Metro Manila Subway yung national government. But right there and there, sinabi na ng Makati Subway and sinabi din naman ng Metro Manila Subway, they welcome na magko-connect yung Makati Subway doon sa Metro Manila. Kasi yun yung ano niyan yun yung pinaka purpose niyan. Kung makikita ninyo, Metro Manila Subway is like one long line from parang manggagaling ng north, somewhere in Fairview, papunta ng south, papunta ng airport. Tapos may mga adjoining cities yan, pababa at paakyat. So Makati is the first one. Obviously, they are the richest city in Metro Manila. Pero I think everybody will follow suit. Magkakaroon din sila ng mga sarili nilang subway system na kukonekta dyan sa main arterial ng Metro Manila Subway. So yes, Makati Subway will connect and I think all the others that will follow will also connect. Kasi if you've been to Japan, ang daming subway operator sa Japan. Meron lang silang isang main, yung circle na line na gano'n. Pag makikita mo sa map na yon, isang malaking circle. And then konektado yung mga sub-cities noon. So hopefully ganun din ang mangyari sa Pilipinas. It will not happen in 5 or 10 years. Now we are happy to have the Metro Manila and then the Makati Subway in 5 years. Pero in the near future, I hope other cities or municipalities, pagka nagkaroon sila ng funds or investor, they will follow to and do the same thing. Next.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Walter Madriaga. Very informative, Sir Ferds. I am more of a medium-term investor or trader. What are the key fundamental metrics I should track or monitor?
Okay, uh, for me nga, I'm using dividend yield and price earning ratio. No? So, sa mga medium term kasi, kailangan meron na ring dividend yield yan. Kasi when you say medium term, you're looking at mga 3 to 5 years horizon. So, dapat meron ka din kumikita habang nakalagak yung pera mo dyan. Now, kung if you're short-term trader naman, it doesn't matter kung merong dividend or not. Dahil most likely, price action lang ang habol mo. So pagka dividend, medium-term trader ka na, medyo meron ka na dapat fundamental trade. Now for me, I'm using dividend and PE ratio. But for you, you have to try these are the major, itong 7 na diniscuss ko. Trying out naman kasi is not going to affect your trading decisions right now. In fact, it will improve. No? So magagamit mo siya na backtest. Okay, mas maganda pala kung pinili ko tong company na to kasi mas maganda yung PE niya. Okay, mas shorter term yung return ng investment ko. So yung mga ganung bagay, after being exposed to the metrics, ma-apply mo yan sa trading. Okay, of course, not for short term. Next.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Romy. I want to be an active trader. Does it mean I will only use technical analysis?
Okay. First consideration, if you want to be an active trader, you have to have the time. When you say actively trading ka, it's not like open lang ako ng trading platform ko or tatawag lang ako sa broker ko pag break time. It doesn't mean na magwo-work yan. When you are actively trading, you have to really monitor the market consistently from opening to closing. No? So, madami agad sa atin na walang time na ganon. Now, may mga nagsabi, I can set naman mga losses or target profits. Yes, true. But in next week's topics that we will discuss, yung market psychology. Lahat ng pananaw mo na gano'n, na kaya mong i-adjust, kaya mong maging actively trading even without having the time to do it, masisira. And I'm telling you, it will not work. Okay, ngayon pa lang, pero I will discuss further next week. Oh, no, not next week. The other week, kasi nga, birthday ko next week, so give me a break. Market psychology will tell you, struggle yan. Even for a veteran like me, I've been in the industry for 26 years. Yung market psychology still affects my trading decision. So what more kung actively trading ka, tapos part-time lang ang monitoring mo. So napakalaking bagay nun. So if you are going to be an active trader, kailangan talaga meron kang time to monitor the market. No? So yun yung transition na kailangan mo. Pangalawa, you have to have the discipline. Okay? Pag hindi ka disciplined to implement your trading plan, cut loss point, napaka-importante. Pag actively trading ka, pagka sinabi ng trading plan mo, cut loss point ka sa ganitong presyo, press the sell button. Walang ano dapat, walang pag-aalinlangan. Huwag mong iisipin, ay naku, baka tumaas pa ito. Parang yung kanento ko kanina, no, yung naging long term. Otherwise, lahat ng magiging position mo, long term ka. Matatawa kayo, may mga na-encounter ako. Sir, tingnan niyo naman yung port ko, paano ba makaka-recover? 200,000 pesos yung pera niya. And he's holding 20 stocks. Ano ka, fund manager? If you have 200,000, the most that you should be owning is about 3 stocks or even 2 stocks only. Diba? So, madaming mga factors psychologically, then yung limitations mo as a person to consider bago ka maging active na trader. Okay? So, yun lang yung mga advice ko. If you can do those things, why not? Next question.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Paul Lapinin. How do you assess sa future earnings ng Merrimart or a growth company like dito, Merrimart? How do you assess if may potential, sir?
Okay. Merrimart muna. No? I think before you bought the stock, you know na parang 3 or 4 lang yung stores na available. Tama? Yung grocery na available. So yung future earnings niya, you will base it doon sa presence naman ng Double Dragon properties. Kasi eventually doon niya ilalagay yung mga groceries niya, yung Mary Mart. Ano? Now at the same time, you also check yung location. Kasi hindi lahat ng location is maganda. Well, so far, dito sa Metro Manila, maganda yung mga location ng Double Dragon properties. So kung lalagyan niya ng mga Mary Mart store siya, that is going to be good for the future earnings consideration ng Mary Mart. Pero yung sa mga provinces kasi I've been going around the whole Philippines. Minsan may nakikita ako mga patay na area ng Double Dragon. No? Meron sila yung mga side street malls and then may mga malls din na malalaki. Minsan niya hindi pa natatapos yung construction, natagal na. So, you have to put that into consideration. So, wag masyadong tapos na yung yung sa Mary Mart yung IPO speculation kasi alam naman natin nangyari sa Double Dragon. So, it also happens sa Mary Mart. Right now, you watch out for the development sa Mary Mart. Nakapag-raise sila ng funds through IPO, saan ba nila ilalagay ito? Kailan sila mag-open? Kailan sila mag-add ng new stores? So yun na yung consideration mo to trade Mary Mart. Okay? Same thing with dito. Tapos na yung speculation ng third telco. Nung nag-speculate ng ng third telco, dito traded from 110 to around 9 pesos. So yun na yung speculation ng third telco. Nung na-award na sa kanila, sila na yung pinili na third telco, tapos na yung speculation na yun. You now trade the developments within the company. Makakabigay ba sila nung hinihingi ng government na mga towers? Makakabuild ba sila ng mga towers around the country? Kasi third telco means you are given the franchise to do telco hindi lang sa Mindanao, Visayas, but around the country, So, may mga resistance diyan. Now, hindi mo dapat kino-consider yung dividend yield sa Mary Mart and sa dito dahil future earnings ang tinitrade mo diyan. So, most likely, parang you're relying on more on speculative pa rin siya, pero not in the sense na parang speculative na it will go from 1 peso to 9 pesos in a month or less than a month. That will not happen anymore. Same thing with Mary Mart, yung mga 400, 300% return in 2-3 days, hindi na rin mangyayari yan. But yung growth nila, you follow closely the development and you trade with it, setting, ito importante, setting a trading plan for target price and cut loss. Pag wala kang target price and cut loss, huwag ka nang pumasok sa dito and Mary Mart. Okay? Next question.
Next question from Mr. Ryan Reyes. How to say if a stock is overvalued or undervalued? How to say if stock is liquid or not liquid? And how to apply this when deciding on which stocks to buy?
Okay. Overvalued, titingnan mo agad yung PER, price earnings ratio. Kung ang PE multiple niya is 80, even 30 lang 30 and above, medyo overpriced na yan. Mataas yung PE niya. Now, kung speculative naman siya, pwede mong tanggalin yung purpose ng PE. But since hindi naman siya speculative, anything above the ordinary, ang average ng Philippine Stock Exchange, ang PE ratio is around 20. So pagka hindi lampas ka sa 20, you are above the average, hindi ka na ordinary nun. More so, pagka napakalayo, kung nasa mga 60, 70, 80 yung PE mo, masyadong expensive yung stock. So kung hindi ka naman subject for speculation, there's no reason for you to trade above or those kinds of PE ratios. The dividend yield, makikita mo na agad, for the last 10 years, hindi nagbibigay ng dividend yung company. It's not earning. Okay? Tapos doon sa illiquid and illiquid stocks, napakasimple nun. Punta ka sa chart, you look at the volume. Kung ang trading volume niya, for example, is not even trading above 100,000 peso per day, illiquid yan. Okay? There's nothing for you there unless there is a speculation going on. Okay? Next question.
Okay, next question from Mr. Sheldon. Very informative, sir. Do you manage private funds?
Okay, I'm managing fund for Japanese high net worth individuals. Now sa local, I don't. I have some funds from my family na ako nagtitrade and some close friends. Pero sa mga retail accounts, hindi. Uh, Although I give them advices, no? Sabi ko nga, nagbibigay ako ng advice, nagbibigay ako ng trading guidance, and I give it out for free. Kung makikita ninyo sa mga social accounts ko, social media accounts, yung trading guidance ko, I give it out. Like for example, ano ba yan? IRC. IRC went to as high as 121 or 122. Saan ako nagbigay ng trading guidance? 80, 85 cents. Okay? Greenergy, I gave trading guidance at 120. Saan siya umabot? Right now, nasa 190 na. APX, I gave out the trading guidance at 1 peso bago pa umakyat yung gold. Went to as high as what? 160, 170. So, the guidance, I gave it out for free. No? So, hindi ko naman kailangan talaga mag-manage ng mga private individuals. Unless you're high net worth, okay? Your high net worth, I may consider it kasi you know what you are coming into, you understand the market, sophisticated enough ka na, and more importantly, most likely yung ibibigay mo sa akin na fund kung high net worth ka is a fund that you can afford to lose. No, kasi walang guarantee sa stock market. So yung mga hard-earned money, don't do that. Don't do that. Slowly lang ang pagpasok sa market. Okay? Next question.
Okay, next question from Mr. Alex San Miguel. There are a lot of undervalued companies now, but have good fundamentals such as GTCap, Ali, M-Wide. Is it the time to invest lump sum now during the dip or do cost averaging if you are midterm, like 1 to 5 years?
Okay. That is true. No? Madaming mga companies right now that are trading at a discount. And tomorrow, based doon sa sector and stock picks ko, madidiscuss ko yan thoroughly. Magsiset pa ako ng mga target prices, no? So profits and losses. Now, on the manner of getting into the market right now, no? Obviously, you don't do lump sum. Slowly yan. And then you also watch which stocks are slowly gaining momentum. Kasi hindi lahat ng discounted stocks will lead the rally. Okay? So for example, Jollibee is discounted right now. Sobrang baba niya. But will it lead the rally? I doubt it. Diba? So may mga consideration ka na ganon. Peso cost averaging, I'm not a practitioner. Kasi if you've been doing peso cost averaging for the last 20 years, now 2000 to 2020, twice ka na naka-experience ng crisis. And all the gains that you had, let's say from 2000 to 2008 na ratio ng 2008 US subprime mortgage crisis, and then kung nag-trade ka naman between 2010 to 2020, na-erase na rin yan lahat ngayon ng COVID-induced crisis. So, I don't subscribe to it, but I don't have any problems for people who are doing it. Baka it is working for them. For me, it's not working. So, if it's working for you, just like the same, I don't think peso cost averaging will advise you to come in lump sum all in ka na ngayon. So slowly lang din. And then at the same time, pick the stocks that you are going to buy. Will they lead the rally? Essential ba siya sa economy? Lalong-lalo na ngayon na mayroong COVID-19 induced crisis. So yun yung mga factors na dapat na kino-consider. Next question.
Okay, next question from Mr. Paul Lapining. Ascensor or AC Energy, 2019 book value per share is 1.08. but
Yes.
it's trading now at 2.7 during pandemic. Does it mean this is expensive?
No, it's being speculated. Eh. They are doing a lot of diversification, no? And the diversification they're doing, I think, is working for them. Meron silang mga presence sa Vietnam and alternative energy, anything that is not reliant on yung black gold or which is oil is going to be the trend of the future. So kung yun yung reason for it to trade above book value, I will definitely go for it. I'm sure book value will adjust accordingly in the years to come pagdating sa asset. Next.
Okay. Next question from Mr. John Pioneta. Sir, paano ka mag-trade ng dividend play? I think this is dividend play.
Okay, dividend play, you have to be sure na yung dividend yield niya is beating the inflation. Okay, so kung ang average inflation for the last 10 years is 2.5%, dapat yung dividend yield is more than 2.5%. That's how you play the dividend yield. Now, kung dividend yield din, dapat din you have a very big exposure. Kasi sa liit niya ng return na yan, I mean 2.5%, about 5% yung dividend yield. Tapos ang inflation is 2.5. So you're earning extra 2.5. 2.5% tas ang pera mo 100,000, magkano lang 'yon. Pero 2.5% pero ang pera mong nakapasok doon sa may dividend yield na 5% is 20 million or 30 million. There lies the big difference, di ba? So it will only work pag malaki yung exposure mo and if it's beating inflation rate.
Okay. Next
Next.
question from Mr. Atoy Babiera. Sir, lahat ba ng stocks or companies na nasa PSE ay mandatory na magbigay ng dividend annually?
No, they are not even required kahit kumikita. No? May mga companies na yung kumikita hindi nagbibigay ng dividend. Kasi dinidecidean nung shareholders, which is the majority, no, we will keep this kasi gagamitin natin for expansion next year. So they can do that. Okay? At the same time, pag sinabi naman, ikaw as a retail investor, ito laki-laki ng kita, hindi nagbibigay ng dividendo, kung saan-saan pinapasok yung pera, what will you do as a retail investor? Don't buy the stock. Para naman pumipilit sa'yo bumili ka doon. So there's no rule that requires them. Except, pag nagbibigay sila ng dividend, and this is important, it makes their stock attractive. Tapos pag nagpa-further secondary offering sila or nagbebenta sila ng preferred shares, yung mga bumibili niyan institutional na eh. No? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, hindi naman tayo retails bumibili ng preferred stock kasi sobrang liit ng return. So bumibili niyan yung mga institution. Hindi pa pasok ang institution diyan kung walang dividend history yan. Unang-una na yung SSS. If SSS is buying this particular stock, dapat yan, I think, for the last 5 years nagbibigay ng dividend. Isa yan sa mga requirement ng mga financial institutions. Okay? Next question.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Paul. Sir, how about stocks na mataas ang dividend yield like PLC? 2018 to 2019 is above 5%, but it is trading below 1 pesos. Ano po assessment dito, sir?
Yun, you can trade that as a dividend play, no? Yung tanong kanina ni Mr. Atoy Babiera ba? So, yung may mga ganong stocks talaga, hindi naman siya actively umakyat baba ang presyo, pero regularly, maganda yung binibigay na dividend or dividend yield. When we say regularly, hindi lang 1 or 2 years dapat. Dapat for the last 5 years ang metric dyan. So consistent, nagbibigay siya higher than inflation rate. You can buy that using a dividend play trading plan.
Okay. Next question from Miss Melanie Tumulto. Paano po malalaman kung magkano ang magiging paper loss if magta-trade po?
Okay. Discuss namin yan yung sample computation. Melanie, siguro, hintayin mo lang, no? I-PM sa ni Olga, meron kaming sample computation. Kasi wala dito sa presentation ko ngayon. Okay?
Okay.
Next
Next
question.
question from Miss Ivy. Sir, what is a typical working day like for an active trader like you?
Okay. Kahit na anong oras ako natulog, let's say, natulog ako ng 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. Or natulog ako ng 4 a.m. dahil galing ako sa kung saan mang lugar. I still wake up at 5 a.m. So body clock ko yung 5 a.m. Why? I immediately, nandito ako ngayon sa room eh. Tapat ng room ko is TV na agad. Nakikita ninyo? So at 5 a.m., hawak ko yung remote, nanonood na agad ako ng news. Importante that before the sun breaks out, you open your TV or you open your laptop and you read the news. Ako, I open my TV and then CNBC agad yon or Bloomberg or whatever. Kasi you miss, let's say 10 hours na wala kang alam sa nangyayari sa mundo, no? Unless somebody texted you, oy, may nangyayari sa US, ganito. You will never be prepared, no, when you open your trading platform kapag hindi mo alam yung nangyari the night before. Okay, so dapat make that a habit, wake up early and read the news. So yun yung typical na, kasi I will know how to adjust. Let's say, oh, nagkaroon ng pagsabog sa Washington, whatever place, no? Bago pa mag-open yung trading hours, alam ko na yung gagawin ko, ano yung mga hawak ko. I can now prepare. Okay, ano yung cut loss points ko, ma-apply ko ba? So yun yung importance nun. Kung mayroon naman magandang development, do I add more? Do I buy more stocks? I can adjust. I have enough time. Hindi naman yung from 5 to 9, ganun lang ang gagawin mo. No? So I always see to it na before 9 o'clock, before mag-open ang market, nakapag-breakfast na ako. No? So yung ritual morning ko is like that. And then monitor na yun from 9 to the close of the market. Dati 3:30, ngayon at 1 we close na, which is better. But siguro pagka slowly our economy goes back into gear, full gear, baka ibalik din nila yan sa 3:30. So it doesn't matter to me. More trading hour is more opportunity for me to make money. So I welcome the development kung i-extend pa yan to 3:30.
Okay.
Next.
Next question from Mr. Atay Babera. Sir, MPI stock lang ba ang may hospital? Ngayong pandemic kasi ay mukhang maganda ang fundamental ng hospitals.
The only stock that I am aware of, yes, no? Pero baka meron kasi mga connected, baka mga subsidiaries nila or whatever. Pero not that I'm certain. Pero sa ngayon, ang alam ko, MPI ang meron mga hospitals under their wing.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Darren Coyoca. What is the usual PE ratio for blue chip companies? Does 20 PE still applicable?
Yes, as long as the market average is 20, no? Ang first na kino-consider naman diyan palagi is yung component ng PSEI index natin eh. So yung top 30 companies na yun, most likely averaging around those levels. So normal yon. Don't be, ang tagal naman nun, 20 years. No, that's normal. Kasi there are so many ways for you to make money naman eh. Meron ka pang price appreciation, aside from the dividend play na involved nga dyan sa long term. Obviously naman, kung umakit ng 100% yung presyo, you will sell even if you're long term, di ba? Bawon, binili mo ng 10, nag 20 pesos na eh. Hindi ka pa ba naman magbibenta? Hindi, dividend yield lang ako. 5% is good for me. Kalokohan yun, that's 100% return. Take it and then buy na lang again later. Next. Next question.
Fans had happy birthday in the chat box. Hello? Okay.
Yes.
For short-term traders, is there such time limit to sell aside from reviewing the indicators? Again, from short-term traders, okay.
Okay, for me,
Okay.
the time limit is not important. What I follow is yung trading plan ko. which is the target price for profit, and then yung losses, ano? So, ina-avoid ko yung lumaki yung losses. So, as much as possible, you follow your trading plan. So, when you say naman short term, that should be around a month or 3 or kahit na mga 5 months, still short term. No? Basta within a year, that's still short term. Next question.
Okay. Next question. Wait lang, sir. From Mr. Paul Lapining. Sir, ano po opinion mo sa plano ng Now Corporation na i-LBI nila Now Telco?
Okay. For the past several years, madaming magandang plano ang Now Telecom. Sad to say, hindi nagmamaterialize eh. No? Kaya nga minsan napapagbintangan yung stock na puro PR lang, puro press release. Now, I'm still hoping na kung ano man yung plano nila, mag-materialize. No? Dahil we need more companies sa telecoms. Dahil if it's going to be, kahit na tatlo na yan, ano, PLDT, Smart, Globe, and then Dito, which is the third telco, we still want more. No? Nandiyan pa yung ICT Converge, nandiyan yung Now Telecoms. If these other two can come up to speed, and then compete directly with the three telcos, the top three telcos, it's better for the consumers. No, so ang aking tingin sa Now, before lahat ng mga press release nila puro press release. Now may press release pa rin sila. If it happens, then good for the company, good for the stock. I think it will go up. But if it doesn't happen again, yun na naman, parang bull trap na naman yun, aakyat pero bababa na naman. That's how I looked at Now, no? Basing doon sa mga previous press releases nila. Next.
Okay, next question from Mr. Rod Buerano. Sir, saan po makakita ng announcement sa company para ma-check fundamental ng isang company?
Okay, PSE has this electronic disclosure system, yung PSE Edge. You just type doon sa search engine mo ng PSE Edge, lalabas na yon, and then you click it. I-navigate mo, no? Kasi madaming information doon. Disclosures, financial reports, mga halts, trading halts, lifting ng suspension, preferred share offerings, nandun doon lahat. In fact, dapat talaga bago mag-news release, nasa disclosure muna ng PSE Edge. Kaya minsan kasi may mga reporters na magagaling. Minsan nakakasalubong nila sa coffee shop yung chairman, tatanungin nila, tapos ilalabasan nila sa news yun. Which is good pa rin naman. Pero pag nilabas yun sa news without disclosure, tatawagan ng PSE yung chairman, papakonfirm sa kanya. So magdi-disclose pa rin siya sa PSE Edge. So follow what the disclosure says. Kung meron ka mang nabasa ahead sa news, i-confirm pa rin yan sa PSE. Kasi minsan taken out of context. Kasi minsan nagkasalubong lang yan, tapos tatanungin, sir, ano yung nangyari sa company? Nagbigay ng opinion yung chairman, pero it's not conclusive, hindi pa siya comprehensive. Doon sa disclosure, I'm sure, conclusive na yung ibibigay ng chairman. Next.
Okay, next question.
Maganda to.
From Miss...
Wait lang, meron akong nakita.
From Miss Dan. Okay.
Meron akong nakita, Paul Lapining. Is the IPO ng ICT Converge expensive, sir? Sagutin ko lang muna to. Maganda to kasi supposedly itong ICT Converge is going to be the biggest IPO, no? Offering. To be honest, hindi ko pa nababasa yung kanilang report, no? Yung offering nila na prospectus. But I'm very sure, no, yung mga nag-handle naman ng ICT Converge, yung mga nag-underwrite nito, malalaki to, meron pa yung underwriters abroad. So hindi yan magiging parang what you call this, yung parang pinaganda, okay? So makikilatis mabuti yan dahil I'm expecting a lot of foreign funds to get into this offering. Now, once I will be able to read the prospectus, that is the only time I can make an answer na is it expensive or not. Okay? So, hintayin natin yung prospectus. But I'm eagerly awaiting the IPO of ICT Converge.
Okay. Next question from Miss Dana. Prospects for Jollibee and San Miguel Corporation.
Okay, as I mentioned, Jollibee, unless they find a way to make money during the pandemic, it will be very hard for them. Unang-una nga kasi, mall-based siya, and then franchise ang kanyang business. So yung mga franchises, I'm sure ang dami nang nalugi. Okay, so it will reflect dun sa earnings nila. Malls will not recover unless everybody gets vaccinated. San Miguel is good because they have the network to supply yung mga groceries that is continuously going to do good business. Up to the retail stores, nagdi-deliver ang San Miguel. So that's good. They are also venturing into infrastructure projects. Ito yung diversification nila. They're coming out of their comfort zone, which is the food sector. Punta sila sa infra, which is still good. Dahil a growing country like ours needs all these infrastructures, better airports, better highways, better transport system. So pinapasok ng San Miguel yan. So future ng San Miguel, I think, is going to be okay. Kahit na meron tayong pandemic right now, one of the companies siya na mag-lead sa recovery. Next.
Okay. Next, before I continue to the next question, I want to shout out everyone who greeted Mr. Fernando Martinez a happy birthday. And I want to read this from Mr. Dato Arroyo. Boss, thank you po. Very informative and easy to understand as usual. Excited for tomorrow's lecture. Makikibati na rin ng advance happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Dato.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Meron ako nakitang magandang question dito. From Paul Pachingel. If you trade US shares or Forex, which platform do you use? Okay, I do trade foreign markets. Pero ito lang yung key difference, no? And i-share ko sa inyo. Always make it a point that the broker you are using is working under regulatory environment. Anong ibig sabihin nun? That broker should be a member of a certain or a particular exchange. Huwag kayong magti-trade. Meron kasing dalawang klase yan eh. Broker under regulatory environment, so member sila ng exchange. And meron yung mga broker naman na, or yung mga trading platform na market maker lang. So hindi sila part ng exchange talaga na tinitrade nila. Ang problema mo dyan, the broker that is trading under regulatory environment, pag nalugi yung broker na yun, the exchange takeovers, and yung account mo is secured. Okay, hindi yun mawi-withdraw ng broker. Parang dito sa Pilipinas, the exchange takes over. Unlike doon sa mga non-regulatory, so kalimitan yan, market maker lang, minimum lang nila yung price of exchange. Okay, so magkakaroon sila ng problema, they will close. You are trading US stocks pero yung company nila is based in Russia or based in kung saang lupalop ng mundo na hindi mo mapupuntahan. You are open naman to pursue legal action. Kaya lang pupunta ka sa Russia para demanda yung company na yun. Can you do that? So it's always better and safer to do your foreign trading, no? Mag-access ka ng ibang capital markets via brokers who are trading under regulatory requirements. So, dapat part sila ng exchange na tinitrade mo. Ako, I trade foreign. I use CIMB. I use Philip Capital. I use another broker. Based in Singapore, lahat sila member exchange ng mga tinitradean ko. Okay? Next.
Okay, next question from Mr. Paul. What is your overall take on mining companies this year, sir? May chance na mag-operate ulit?
Okay. Mining industry benefited in general, not only in the Philippines, in general, during the pandemic, kasi nagkaroon tayo ng rush to gold. Ano ibig sabihin ng rush to gold? In times of uncertainty kasi, people go to safe havens, and traditionally gold is a safe haven. So nung nagpuntahan doon yung mga institution, umakyat yung presyo ng gold, hindi lang gold yung umakyat yung silver, umakyat din yung mga ibang precious metals. So yun na yung given atmosphere, no, sa global markets. Dito sa Pilipinas, we are pressured. Bakit? We need industries kasi to get us out of the slump, no, sa nangyayari niyan because of the pandemic. Now, if the global markets is warming up towards the precious metals industry or gumaganda yung precious metals industry, dito sa atin kasi madami pa rin mga nakasara, no, dahil may mga violations sila na ginawa no, and rightfully so dapat silang isara. Now, it is up to the government, no, kung papa-open nila yan to generate or push the economy back to the same levels before the pandemic. Now, it's up to them to set the terms, no, dahil may violation ginawa. So, hindi ko sinasabing hindi na mag-ooperate yan. They may be allowed, pero they have to follow certain terms. Not only the mining, pati sa gaming. Example ko na, isa sa mga stocks na binabantayan ko right now. I'm looking at LR, no? Leisure Resorts. Bakit? Kasi before, they have this big ticket project, di ba? Yung casino sana sa Boracay. Okay? Ang problema, hindi sila pinayagan to operate a casino. But remember, meron niya silang partner, and that partner has allotted funds for that project. With the way tourism is going on right now, madaming mga hotels sa Boracay na I'm sure is going to close down. Not only in Boracay, but the entire world. LR sits in a distinct position to take advantage. Kahit na wala sila nung casino, they can put up that hotel, and then when things go back to normal, sila yung operational. And what more kung payagan pa yung casino? Now, baka ba mampayagan yan or hindi? Who knows? Government is willing to do anything right now to keep our economic engine running. Now, putting casino in Boracay, sabihin, kinain mo yung sarili mo, salita. But these are all subject to terms. Pag pinayagan nila mag-operate yung hotel with the casino, meron pa rin mga terms yan. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are kinakain mo yung sinabi mo before, no? I'm very sure the government is going to have the last say. So, yung sa mining na yan and yung sa gaming na yan, they will have the last say. Will they operate? I don't know. But the pressure is on kasi we need industries that will immediately jumpstart the recovery of the economy. Next.
Okay, next question from Mr. Brady Racho. Sir, are the FA indicators still relevant once you already have bought the stock? Are you
Of course.
going now to focus only on technical indicators monitoring your stock?
No, it's still relevant, no? Kasi may mga biglang umakyat, biglang bumababa na stocks. So, kung long term ka pa, lalo na. Not ibig sabihin, hindi naman kasi ibig sabihin na long term ka, you will stick to that stock na for the next 10 or 20 years. You have the option to interchange. Now, for example, you don't want to put Jollibee anymore on your long term. Hanap ka ng stock na papalit sa kanya. Now, you will still be using the same metrics. No? Bakit ba ako magbebenta na ng Jollibee? Ang pangit na ng dividend yield niya. PE niya napakataas na. So, ganun mga factors pa rin yung magpag-decide sa iyo. At the same time, yung pipiliin mong kapalit, ganun din, gagamitin mo pa din yung metrics. Pagka longer term talaga yung horizon mo, fundamental metrics dapat nandoon. Present talaga siya. Now, pagka shorter term, you may do away with it and then price action yung babantayan. Next question.
Okay. Next question from Mr.
Yes.
Stewart.
Let's
from Mr. J. Crosena.
Let's have last two questions. Okay.
Okay. From Mr. J. Crescena, what do you recommend for international online broker? I'm looking at IBKR. It seems legit. What do you think about eToro?
Okay. eToro is widely used right now. No? The only problem I have with them is they're not working on under regulated environment. So meaning to say eToro is not a member of any exchange. And it doesn't mean to say that they're illegal. Okay? Kaya lang, for me, yung security reasons of trading somebody under regulation and not under regulation, I'll go for the one that is regulated. The same thing, I noticed sa eToro, ang lalaki ng spread sa Forex nila. I mean, supposedly, they're not charging commissions. Ata, no? I'm not sure. Kasi wala naman akong account sa kanila. I'm just hearing some complaints. Pero yung spread nila is napakalaki. I mean, 2-3 point spread is no longer a trend right now. Baby pips na nga ngayon. When I was trading in the 90s and 2000, 1 pip spread is good. Pero ngayon, baby pips na. So kung malaki yung spread mo, it's a disadvantage for you. Always look for brokers that is under regulation. So under regulated environment. Very easy naman yan eh. Let's say based in Singapore yung stock na to, o yung broker na to. Go to the Singapore Stock Exchange, SGX, and then check mo yung membership, kung member siya na or hindi. Kung Hong Kong based naman siya, go to Hong Kong Stock Exchange, check mo din kung member siya. Lalo na kung US based siya. So you go to the New York Stock Exchange and other exchanges, check mo kung member siya. Kasi kagaya nung pinagtitradean ko, no, I mentioned several brokers that I trade with sa Singapore. Member sila ng US Stock Exchange, yung NYSE, member sila ng LSE, London Stock Exchange, member sila ng SGX, member sila ng Hong Kong. So, under regulated environment, everywhere they go, or everywhere you go, or everywhere you trade. Okay, so yun dapat ang yung basihan mo dyan. Next. Last question.
Last question from Mr. Last question from Mr. Al. Since you mentioned foreign broker should be registered, how would you know if a broker, whether local or foreign, is registered?
Yeah, I just mentioned it a while ago, no? Same thing with the way I answered yung kay Mr. Cosena's question. If your broker is based in Singapore, check the Singapore Stock Exchange kung member sila nun. Diba? Sa Philippines, ganun din. Okay? You don't go to a certain organization or any group, or some are even claiming tribe sila or tribo. You go check the PSE, member ba kayo nito? Ba? So, if you want security, go to a registered broker. Parang sa doctor din yan. You don't go to a quack doctor. You go to a registered doctor. Diba? So, same thing. Last question pa kasi halos pareho lang yung question nila.
Anyone else who want to ask questions? Halos sir, puro bati na lang sa inyo po.
Okay.
Or happy birthday.
With that, we will close the session today under fundamental analysis. Hopefully, nakatulong sa inyo. Bigyan ko lang ng recap. So, importante ito. Economic analysis, GNP, GDP, inflation, money supply, and interest rates. Sa metrics naman, we discussed dividend yield, earnings per shares, price earning ratio or PE multiple, book value, price to book value, shareholders equity, outstanding shares, and debt to equity. Napakadami nito. And I'm sure when you go out on Monday sa trading world or kahit mamaya, you know more than 99% of the population of the Philippines. Hindi lahat na nagtitrade alam itong mga diniscuss natin. So, thank you so much and hopefully, kailan next date natin, Olga?
Okay,
Wala
next
tayo next week,
session
diba?
is tomorrow. Same time, 10 a.m. Wala po next week.
Topic tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow meron po, 10 a.m. Topic tomorrow will be the worst maybe over sectors and stocks to watch at trading guidance for COVID-19 induced crisis.
Okay, importante yun tomorrow kasi doon ako magbibigay ng mga stock picks ko. And I will give out target prices and target cut loss points. No? Tapos yung next session natin, Olga.
Okay, next session will be on September 19 and
20
20.
topics.
September 19 will be trading versus investing, a special topic. And September 20 will be market psychology or trading psychology, managing your trading emotions.
All right. So again, thank you
All right.
and hopefully makita ko ulit kayo tomorrow. Tingin ko yung mga traders will be present tomorrow dahil stock picks tayo tomorrow.